Okay then, ladies. So this is our last meeting of the year for 2021, and we've all had a bit of another rocky year with everything that else has gone on. So today we're going to be talking about goal setting for 2022 without kind of setting goals. I'm going to let Helen, our guest speaker, tell you all about that. Helen Leathers, she's a transformational women's coach, and we're very, very blessed to have her, as she is one of our very own wonderful ambassadors. So Helen uses an holistic blend of tools and techniques to help you explore your true purpose. From spiritual coaching, energy work, she will help you explore your intuitive self. Helen will help you to feel more energized, confident, guided, and I love this, and on purpose, ready for the next phase of your life. So get relaxed, get ready, and I'll hand you over to Helen. Helen, over to you.
And yes, today I'm going to be talking about goal setting, and I use that as a title for workshops. But the first thing I tell people is I don't do goal setting. So, but I mean that not in the traditional sense that you might perhaps have done so in the past. So I use goal setting in a slightly different way, and I'll tell you why. Who has ever done a vision board or set a goal, and some of those things that you wanted to achieve have happened and other things haven't? Who's ever done that? Like, some have, some haven't. You're not sure what the difference is between the two, right? You're like, how did I manifest that and then the other thing just didn't happen? That's odd. And I've got a theory. Most of the goal setting I've done previously when I've been working for organizations and training has been very externally influenced, and we are, as women, typically we can be very externally influenced because we tend to, and I'm going to make some sweeping statements, so apologies in advance for those sweeping statements. I know that it's not going to cover everyone or everything, but oftentimes we're people pleasers. We want to make everybody happy. We do things so that everyone else around us is happy and we don't feel guilty and all of those things. So quite often our goals are influenced by other people and influenced by outside factors. So we might set a goal about earning a particular amount of money because that's how much our partner expects us to earn, or we want to match their salary, or they say, my ex-husband used to say, you know, you need to earn more money, or you need to do this, or we need to do that. So a lot of my goals were very influenced by what he felt we should have as a married couple. And funnily enough, they're the ones that never got to come to fruition. The goals that happened for me almost by magic, miraculously, with ease, with flow, with the right people occurring at the right time. And oh my goodness, that's a bit of a miracle. I wanted that to happen and it just did. Who's had goals that have happened like that before? Anyone? Yeah, just those magical moments where the right person pops up at the right time. Those ones came from in here. They came from me sitting one day and hearing this little voice going, you should write a book. Oh, I think I might want to write a book. And suddenly 3 months later, I have a book. It usually takes a lot longer than that, by the way. And all these little magical things. Why don't you do this? And then suddenly someone says to me, oh, I've been thinking about this, and the two things match. And so it happens very, very easily. And coaches will often talk about having intrinsic motivation, and that's the motivation that comes from you rather than from someone else. So, you know, the carrot and stick approach, that kind of thing, the things where we get recognition from outside of ourselves don't always work. Sometimes they do, but they don't often. So if you want to tap into your own intrinsic motivators and values that will get you doing the activity that you need to do to achieve your goal, because woo's great, but we need to take action too. If you want to tap into that and into the magic of, you know, meaningful moments, serendipity, the universe delivering, manifestation, and all of those things, you need, this is how I do it. So I want to share this with you. And what I'd like to do is like to take you through a visualization process. And so for this purpose, if I can ask you to keep your cameras on, that would be great. Some people turn them off when I talk about doing a visualization, but I like to just make sure everyone's safe and okay. We're not going to be doing anything weird, but I do like to make sure sometimes when we go into something that's visualization, people can kind of fall asleep or, you know, something like that. So I want to make sure you're okay. So keep your cameras on, and also keep pen and paper close to hand, because at the end, I'm going to ask you to bring your awareness back and to make some notes. So I want you to do that without too much interruption. So I'm going to take you through this process. I'm going to try and share some music with you in the background as well to make it nice and relaxing. If you hear music, that's great. If you don't worry, I've just done something wrong. I've only been using Zoom for about 4 years, so I don't really know how it works. I keep going, I'm going to share this. Where's the share button? I should know by now. So this exercise can be done over and over again. It's not a one-off. And what you might find is you might be thinking, I need to set a goal for my business, and something else might come up that's about your life. You might find you're quite surprised by what comes up for you, or you might not. It might be exactly what you're expecting. And you might do this again and have something else entirely comes up. So it's about connecting with your inner self and also the things that come from your heart. Where does your inner voice, your intuition, if you like, your soul, if you prefer, where does that want to take you into the future? So this is kind of intuitive, intrinsic goal setting that allows for the magic to happen. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through this process. So if you just make sure you're comfortable, if you think you might be interrupted by someone, can you just like tell them, don't interrupt me for 20 minutes? That would be great. It's quite funny what I see when I read visualizations. The other week, someone was deep in this lovely visualization and their dog jumped on their lap. And I just saw them go, whoa, as this dog woke them out of this visualization. So perhaps if there's a dog, maybe move them. So make sure you're comfortable. If you can put your feet on the ground, on the floor, that would be great. Try to make sure you've got a nice straight back and you're really connected and kind of relaxed. So you might want to just move your shoulders, move your neck around. Just make sure you're not thinking, oh, this is uncomfortable. If you're thinking that, you're in your body and it's a bit distracting. So take a nice deep breath in for me and let it go. Relax and breathe out, and then another nice deep breath in and slowly and deeply exhale. And when you're ready, if you want to close your eyes, that will just help you to visualize in your mind's eye. And if you're thinking, I'm not very good at visualizing in my mind's eye, then I'll just allow thoughts to come to you. Not everybody can visualize in their mind's eye. A lot of people can. We can imagine. So imagine as I talk, and just allow your body to relax and feel a little bit heavy, sinking into the chair, into the ground if you can. And taking another deep breath. Allow any thoughts of the day, thoughts of your to-do list, all of those things that were bothering you earlier, allow them to go. You can come back to them later if they're still there and seem important. Let them go now. Breathing slowly and deeply. The more that you breathe, the more you relax and let go. That's right. Very good. Relaxing into the chair. And as you relax into the chair, you may feel a sense of heaviness in your body. And you may also start to feel a sense of lightness too. And I'd like you to imagine that this sense of lightness is a part of you that exists beyond the physical. And as you breathe and relax and focus on this part of you begins to float upwards. It's quite safe. It's quite relaxed. It's enjoyable. But this part of you floats up and out of your body, above your body. And imagine now placing a marker of some kind above your physical body. I like to use a red balloon that stays floating right above your head. A bright red balloon, but you might find something similar. And now as you float, you see the red balloon or something similar, marking this point in the here and now. And this part of you that is light and floaty lifts up higher and higher above where you're sat in the here and now. And I'd like you to state the intention that you're going to float forward on your timeline. You might not see a line, you might just see the world, or your room, or something else. But imagine that this floaty part of you is floating in time and space ahead of you 12 months from now. It's December the 8th, 2022. And you float all the way to that space. And from that place high above where you are, you can look down and see yourself. And as you realize that you're 12 months from now, your floaty part of you can float down slowly to the earth part of your existence and can look around unseen and unknown, but can look and observe and see and sense all there is. So you're in your life 12 months from now, and I'd like you to notice one thing about this situation that you are in now. What have you achieved in the 12 months from now? So you may see yourself sitting in the house that you've achieved or manifested, in a workspace, or doing an activity that you don't currently do. See what you see and feel what you feel. Imagine what you imagine is happening 12 months from now. Who are you? As that soaks into you and you realize, wow, I've done this. I've achieved this. Feel how it feels to have achieved this one thing. How does the world respond to you differently because you've done this one thing in the last 12 months? How amazing does it feel to be you 12 months from now, knowing what you've achieved, what you've manifested, and knowing how the world sees you now? Welcome this version of you into your life and know that this is a version of you can become. This is a one thing, a something that you can achieve. And having soaked in all of those feelings and knowing that you can achieve that one thing, the lightness in your body, in your spirit, in your soul, whatever you'd like to call it, takes over once more, and you float up again once more into the ether above that point in time 12 months from now. And allow that floaty part of you to come back, but not all the way back. Come back to the 9-month mark. So coming back to September 2022. And as you look down at September 2022, ask yourself, the part of you that has gone ahead and done this already, reach into that part of you, the intuitive part of you. What did I do in September that allowed me to be the me in December? What action did I take? What one thing was necessary? The difference that made the difference to achieve what you achieved 12 months from now. And allow that intuitive part of you to answer. Give you that answer somewhere in your conscious mind. Thank you. And with that information or that feeling or that sensation, it's time to drift back a little more to the 6-month mark. So in June 2022, look down at yourself in June 22 and ask the version of you that's been ahead and done this and knows this already. Reach into that intuitive part of you that knows and ask, what did I do in June 2022 that made the difference, that allowed me to become the version of me in December, that allowed me to achieve, receive, or manifest that one thing? And allow that intuitive part of you to answer. Thank you. And allowing that floaty part of you to come back a little more 3 months from now. So March 2022. And whilst we don't know what the world will be doing in March 2022, we might know what we could do to move us to that 12-month version of us. So look down on yourself. Reach into that intuitive part of you that knows already. And ask yourself, what did I do in March 2022? What was the difference that made the difference that allowed me to achieve, receive, or manifest my 12-month vision? Allow that part of you to give your intuitive response. See what you see and feel what you feel as you answer that for yourself. And then allowing that part of you to float back towards your red balloon or your other marker, but you're still high above yourself in the ether, floating and looking down at yourself in the here and now. And asking yourself, as you are floating above, you can see the 12 months stretching out ahead of you. What else do you notice? What actions are you taking? What behaviors are you using? Who are you in the next 12 months that allows you to achieve, receive, or manifest that vision for December 2022? Is she strong? Is she powerful? Is she active and action focused? Is she calm and zen? Is she something else? And as you see that version of yourself and feel that version of yourself, allow yourself to choose that version of you and all that you achieve now. choose that future for you now, and know that you can do that in the next 12 months. And as you choose that version of yourself in the future now, that floaty part of you floats down into your physical part of you, and you start to feel connected with your body once more. So taking a deep breath in and exhaling, and taking a deep breath in and exhaling, and allowing yourself to breathe, allowing yourself to be aware of your physical body. I'm going to ask you in a moment, not now, but in a moment, to make some notes on what you saw and felt and experienced at 12 months, and then what actions you needed to take at 3, 6, and 9 months to achieve that now. So bringing your awareness back into your physical body, your contact with the chair, your feet with the floor, wriggling your fingers and toes. And as you feel ready to, opening your eyes, taking your pen and making some notes. And if you need to have a little stretch, a little movement to bring you back into full awareness, do that too. And then just allowing yourself a few moments to write down your vision that you saw and the steps that you noticed 3, 6, and 9 months. How are we all doing? Now you've written, most of you have written those 3, 6, 9 and that 12-month vision. I want you to, you might need to close your eyes again, but I want you to ask yourself, what one step can I take today? What one step can I take today that will move me towards? If you're overwhelmed, it doesn't mean you're going to take it today, okay? But what could you do that would move you towards that 3-month mark, which will move you towards the 6 and 9 and 12-month mark? One thing, however small, and write that down. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question, and if anyone would like to answer, that's great. If you don't want to, because you know, sometimes these type of goals come from so deep within us, they can make us feel quite emotional, and we can also feel that they're quite private. So you don't have to share, but if you want to, I'm going to ask if anyone was a bit surprised by what they imagined or visualized 12 months from now. Does anyone have a bit of a surprise without sharing detail? Or was it all exactly what you expected? Erica, is it? Erica,
it is,
a
yeah.
bit of a surprise?
Yeah. I'm all geared up for business. It's always about business. Actually, it wasn't a business one that came out.
Really?
That was a personal one. Yeah, and I was very surprised because it's always pretty far down the line when I'm doing, goal setting and just things in general. So yeah, that was really good.
Excellent. Well, one of the things that we must try to remember is that our business is a vehicle for our lifestyle. And so if we have a really passionate vision that we want for our lifestyle, that our business can drive us towards, then that's useful, isn't it? So, I think that there is as much value in lifestyle goals and life goals and relationship goals and all of that as there is in business goals. It gives us a nice balance as well. Would anyone like to share what they have set, what their heart has set their intention on for 12 months? As I say, you don't have to.
I can do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of thought that is what I would like because that is in my mind anyway. So probably that just come out during, but it was really good session that actually just quietly think. This is mostly is business related, and I want to double my business profits in next 12 months. So that is obviously the next few step is basically is to how am I going to do is I know that I need to streamline my business process, which is in order to make it more efficient. I always want to be, I mean, I understand my why very much when I start my business is part of the reason is I want to be a digital nomad because my family is, my parents getting old, they live in Hong Kong, and I want to be able to bring my business working over there while I can visit them. So that is always my goal. So the surrounded, I have a virtual practice that basically is partly is I will be still able to serve my client and while I'm abroad, which is in order to set up that I need to have that sort of structure that help me out. So this next 12 months is to work on that. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you. So I'm sure you've all heard before the idea of breaking things down into small manageable chunks, which is why I wanted you to have one thing that you could do today or in the next few days that will move you towards that. As an action to take away, I'd like you to think about that, maybe that 3-month mark. What do I need to be doing in 3 months? Although having done this exercise myself many times, I know that sometimes the things you get at the 3, 6 and 9 months are abstract words and you're like, what does that even mean? So you have to kind of go with that and maybe put it on a post-it note for the month or something like that and focus on that. It can be a feeling and that kind of thing, but one of the exercises you can do now is focus on either the goals at 3, 6, 9 months or 12 months and brainstorm absolutely everything that you will need to do in order to achieve it. I love to use post-it notes, so I write everything down on a post-it note, and where things might be quite big, I try to break them down even smaller chunks. And then with a big, either on a wall or perhaps a big sheet of flip chart paper, I love a flip chart paper pad. I divide it, I do a line across the middle, divide it in 6 columns. So I've got 12 blocks and I put a month on each one and I share those post-it notes out. And with post-it notes, of course, you can move them around. So you can go, well, actually, I can't do that until I've done that. So you get a flow, a workflow. Our tendency is to just put all of those post-it notes in January and then we become overwhelmed. Erica's nodding. I've done that before, maybe more than once. So maybe every year, maybe every project. So we need to spread them out so that we don't get
Helen, it's worse. It's worse than that. I'll put them in January. When it doesn't happen, I move them all to February. So you get that overwhelming feeling again and again.
Every month. Okay, now, Erica, I want you to promise me you're not going to do this. Spread them out. Give yourself a fighting chance. And when you spread them out and create space, what does that space allow for? It allows for the magic to happen. I'm working on my goal one step at a time. from my heart, from an intrinsic motivating place, and I'm going to allow the universe to help me. And here's another big top tip that I'm going to share with you before I finish. Once you've done that, you've planned it all out, then all you've got to do is action each one at a time, one at a time. But here's a big tip. Look, when you've put those into your 12-month blocks, just take a look and go, where do I need support? What do I need to know in terms of knowledge, new knowledge? What do I need to learn in terms of skills? And who can I get support from, and who can I ask for help from? We're typically quite bad at that, you know, as a species, but as a gender particularly, we're quite bad at asking for help. I know that within the WEWU community, there are so many amazing people, and Nick's already mentioned about the ambassadors, that if you reach out and ask for help, the universe goes, oh, you want me to help you? Okay, yeah, I know you've asked your friend Sally to help you, but actually I'm going to throw some in there too. And that space between the actions, combined with asking for help, combined with the fact that this is something coming from you and not an outside influence, just allows for that magic to happen. And then that's just a beautiful thing. That's happened so many times for me. So I know this is very much a whistle-stop tour. I just wanted to give you something that you can take away and action. I usually run this as a full-day workshop, and we go into lots more detail. But I also have, Nick's asked me to share this with you. I have a 2-hour Your Vision for 2022 session happening in January. So if anyone wants to join me for that, I'm going to put a link in the chat box, and I know Nick's going to share the link in the newsletter later. What I'm going to do, there's a code you can use to get £5 off the workshop, and I'm also going to match, if anyone wants to join me for that, use the code so I know you've come from WEWU, and then I will match another £5, which I'll donate back to WEWU. So you will, oh, you're welcome, Nick. So I'm going to share that in there so that you know, let's see what to do. It's on Eventbrite. And there's the code, and then I will get a little notification and be able to donate back to WEWU as well and support that wonderful work for women in the area. Yes, Cindy, you've got a question.
Helen, I don't have a question, but I just want to confirm what you just said, and it's beautiful when you said it, about the fact that actually, yes, you can ask the universe for help. And when it happened, trust me, I'm very emotional because it just happened to me.
Oh, did it? Wonderful.
I did ask the universe about something that I really want to do for women, but I know I need the support. And that's, you're right. We don't ask for this. Well, guess what? A client had a session with me. She was so amazed. She asked me to work with her, and she referred a patient, actually, she's a doctor, to me.
Fabulous.
Do you see? I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. So yes, you ask and you get.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I hope that you find that useful. Like I say, it's just a very quick workshop today, but it should give you enough to get going, and to get going before we end and wrap up the year and start again. I always think it's good to start your goals before the new year, and start that momentum going into that season.
Can I just ask a question, Helen, about your you know, you said you put it into blocks of 6. So is that 2-month blocks you have it in?
No, sorry.
I understand.
So I've got a virtual background on, so you can't see my hands. Let me take it off. So get a big sheet of paper. You can do this on A4 paper, but I like to use flip chart paper.
Yeah.
And here we go. Take the piece of paper, put a line across the middle. So you've divided it in half horizontally. That's a really bad line. And then divide it in 6 down here. And that means you've got 6 blocks on each row. So you've got a total of 12.
Sorry, got you.
So yeah, that's terrible drawing. I've never drawn backwards.
It is different. You tried your makeup backwards. I have to do that as well.
Wow. So yes, there we go, 12 blocks.
Helen, thank you so much. Just having that time, I think sometimes to have that visualisation, to go within yourself and just like listen to that inner compass is so helpful. It's certainly been helpful for me, and I've taken some notes. But everybody, Helen does some amazing courses. She's just in the process at the moment being able to give an accredited course to become a spiritual coach. She's got a wealth of knowledge. So, you know, if you want to learn more, if you want to go on one of her courses, I'm going to send you links for all of her details. Helen is just, she is there to empower you, to guide you on your way and hold your hand every step of the way if that's what you need. Or, you know, you might get enough from one of her 2-hour sessions that, you know, she's put the link in, but she's there, and along with all of our ambassadors. And I think the lovely thing about WEW is that it's that sort of sense of community, a sense of belonging. A lot of what we do, we feel very isolated. A lot of us are now working from home, and you just think, oh my gosh, I'm going through all of this alone. And you don't have to be alone. You know, we're all here to support one another. Thank you so much, Helen. That honestly, I was so excited about today, and I know it's been a bit of a whistle stop, but I am definitely coming to your course in January, so that will be absolutely wonderful.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Be lovely to see you.
Helen, I have a question.
Oh yes, Yvonne has a question.
Yeah, I would like to know if I were to set this, do this goal setting, by when I have to complete it for year 2022.
It's entirely up to you. You know, when I actually do the vision for 2022, I don't really actually put a timeline on it. So on the longer day workshop, I take you somewhere out there in time. I don't take you to 12 months from now. And they're the words I use. Let's go somewhere out there in time in the future. And that takes you even further into where your heart wants to take you. So you don't have to do it for a year. You can. And I wanted to do this particularly for us, because as business people, we tend to work on like what's going to happen in a year. But you don't have to do it in just a year. So it is quite possible to take it out there to a much further into the future. You can do your whole life like this.
Actually, when I was doing the visualization, during the quarterly mark, I couldn't visualize anything at all. But I do see some vision. Mm-hmm. So I was just thinking, because I've been doing goal setting every year. That's my ritual every year, but it doesn't seem to work very well for me. So I changed to vision board this year, mm-hmm. And it worked miraculously for me. And universe kind of manifest and bring me people that I never dreamed of.
Wonderful.
And yeah, it's a very beautiful experience. But the thing is, like right now, I want to do a vision board for next year, because the year end is, now it's year end, the year is coming to a close.
Yeah.
So do I have to set everything before the year starts?
No. Do one thing at a time. I mean, we can really focus only on one thing at a time generally. So perhaps, if you've got a vision board, just like allow yourself to meditate and go inside of yourself, relax and breathe, and ask yourself, what's my health goal, or where does my body want to go in terms of health and wellness? Where does my mind want to go in terms of personal development? Where does my heart want to go in terms of relationships? And ask yourself those questions so that the answers come from within you. And then you could have a vision for each of those areas of your life that you then work towards. If we try to do too many things all at once, then we set ourselves up for failure. So that's what I would do for you.
Okay, thank you. That's very insightful and then thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, Helen, thank you so much. We're going to move on now to our networking part. So I'm just going to stop the recording. Thank you.